It's been 28 long years since the world ended, or at least the world we knew. Back then, the rage virus swept through cities like wildfire, faster than fear itself. People didn't just die, they transformed. Their hearts stopped feeling, their minds stopped thinking. All that remained was rage. Now, nearly 3 decades later, the Earth is quiet, too quiet. Nature has taken back what humanity once claimed. Concrete jungles have turned into real ones, with vines crawling up glass towers and streets buried under wild grass. The air feels heavy with the memories of screams that once filled it. The world is no longer ruled by man, but by silence. But silence never lasts forever. In the north, far beyond the ruins of what used to be England, small pockets of survivors have rebuilt pieces of civilization. They live in fenced villages, guarded and fearful. Most were born after the outbreak. They've only heard the stories, the bedtime warnings told by parents to keep them from wandering too far. For them, the rage virus is just a myth. But myths have a way of becoming real again. Deep beneath an abandoned hospital, sealed for almost 3 decades, something still stirs. A single sound breaks the silence, a faint click, then a breath. A scientist's voice whispers through the darkness, trembling with hope. If this works, humanity might finally heal. But in trying to heal the past, they awaken it. A containment seal hisses open. A drop of blood slides down a shattered vial, and just like that, history begins to repeat itself. Miles away, a 17-year-old girl named Ellie wakes from a nightmare. She dreams of fire, of people running, of screams that sound almost familiar. Her mother tells her it's just dreams, but Ellie knows better. In this world, dreams are often warnings. The next morning, as she works in the fields, a sound cuts through the calm. A helicopter. No one has seen one in years. The craft bears no markings, just black metal and the roar of old technology. Armed figures step out, their faces hidden. They call themselves the Restoration Unit. Here to reclaim what's left of humanity and cleanse the land. But some whisper they're the same people who caused the first outbreak. That night, Ellie's curiosity pulls her to the edge of the village. She follows the strangers and sees them open a crate. Inside, a sealed container with red markings and a label, R28. Her heart pounds. She doesn't know what it means, but the fear in their eyes tells her everything. It's not medicine. It's something far worse. She runs, but it's too late. A scream echoes from the hill, then another. By dawn, the first wave of infection has begun. The virus that the world tried to bury has returned stronger, faster, more ruthless. This time, it doesn't just spread through blood. Now, even the air can carry its fury. The morning peace is gone. Panic spreads faster than the virus itself. People shout, run, grab whatever they can carry. Ellie stands frozen at the gate, watching her father try to organize the guards. Keep the children inside. Don't open the gates for anyone. But from the road, a man stumbles toward them, his eyes blood red. He's shaking, whispering, until he unleashes a scream that tears through the air like a knife. It's not human, it's rage. The guards hesitate for just 1 second. That's all it takes. He slams into the first guard, biting, tearing, clawing. The infection begins. Ellie's father pushes her back, shouting, "Run, go to your mother." But she can't move. Gunfire echoes as the restoration unit tries to contain what they unleashed. But they don't realize the virus they brought is not the same. It's faster. As the sun rises over the broken land, the silence is gone once again, replaced by the sound of rage. Smarter, worse. The infected no longer act like wild animals. They move in bursts, stopping, watching, sensing movement before they strike again. It's almost like the virus has learned. Ellie runs through smoke and screams, searching for her mother. She finds her near the old well, holding a child in her arms, terrified. The woman's eyes meet Ellie's, then widen in horror. Behind Ellie, an infected figure appears, sprinting and snarling. A gunshot echoes. The creature drops. Ellie turns. Her father stands there, bleeding from his shoulder. He grabs her hand. "We have to go now." They run toward the forest, leaving behind the burning remains of the only home they ever knew. Flames rise into the grey morning sky, and the sound of the infected fills the endless, unstoppable. By nightfall, the village is gone. What remains are ashes and echoes. 3 days later, Ellie and her father walk through the ruins of what used to be a city. Cars are rusted, windows shattered, streets empty. But sometimes they hear footsteps or whispers, and sometimes screaming. They hide inside an old subway tunnel. The walls are covered in faded graffiti messages left from the first outbreak. "Keep moving. Don't look back. They hear you breathe." Her father sits against the wall, exhausted. His wound looks worse now. Fever burns through his body. "Dad," she whispers. He smiles weakly. "I'm fine," he lies. But Ellie knows the truth. She's seen it before. The trembling hands, the twitching eyes. The infection is inside him. He grips her wrist. "Promise me something," he says softly. "When it happens, you don't wait." Tears fill her eyes. "I can't, you must." Hours pass. The world outside grows silent again. Ellie tries to stay awake, but her body gives in to exhaustion. When she opens her eyes, he's gone. At first, she thinks he left to find help, but then she hears it. A sound she'll never forget, that low animal growl right behind her. She turns slowly and sees him. Her father, or what's left of him. For a moment, he doesn't attack. He just stares at her, eyes filled with something almost human. Then rage takes over. A single tear falls from Ellie's eye as she raises the weapon he gave her. A single shot echoes through the dark tunnel. Silence returns. Ellie steps out of the tunnel at dawn. She's alone now, but not broken. She looks toward the horizon, where smoke rises from distant ruins. Somewhere out there, people are still alive, and maybe there's still hope. But she knows one thing for sure: the virus is back, and this time, the world won't survive another mistake. Days pass. The infection spreads across the mainland like a wildfire no one can stop. Cities fall in silence, one after another. Governments collapse. Communication dies. The world has entered its second dark age. Ellie wanders through the remains of humanity-abandoned roads, burnt villages, and empty skies. But she's not alone for long. One night, while searching for food inside a deserted shopping mall, she hears voices. At first, she hides. Then, a light flashes across her Pfizer torch beam. "Don't move," a voice commands. Three figures appear armed, cautious, and tired. They look human. They are human. Their leader, a woman named Rhea, lowers her weapon. "You're not infected, are you?" Ellie shakes her head. Rhea studies her face, young, frightened, but alive. "Then you come with us," she says. If you want to live, they take Ellie to an underground shelter, a hidden camp deep beneath the ruins of London. There are dozens of survivors, live children, soldiers, doctors. It's not perfect, but it's safe. For now, as days turn into weeks, Ellie learns more. The group isn't just surviving, they're searching for a cure, and for the people who brought the virus back. Rhea reveals the truth. The restoration unit wasn't here to help. They reopened the lab's old government facilities sealed after the first outbreak. They were trying to reactivate the virus. For control, Ellie's heart sinks. Her father died because of them. Her entire village gone because of them. She looks at Rhea, her voice trembling. "Then we find them, and we stop them." The survivors move through the city ruins, tracking radio signals from the restoration unit. Each step brings them closer to the Sorsan old military base near the coast. Hidden under the fog, inside that base lies the truth and something worse. What will they find? And what secrets are waiting for them in the dark? When we finally arrived, the place looked like a ghost town. Dust covered everything, a thick grey blanket over consoles and chairs. But the silence wasn't complete. The computers still hummed faintly, a low, persistent thrum, and a strange red light blinked in the dark, pulsing like a weak heartbeat. Rhea, a master of old tech, didn't hesitate. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, hacking into the dusty system. In moments, files flooded the screen, hundreds of them. A title stood out: R28, Controlled Evolution Project. Ellie leaned closer, reading the lines slowly, her voice barely a whisper. They weren't trying to cure the virus. They were trying to improve it. The rage virus, the one that tore our world apart, had mutated. It had adapted, evolving to survive even longer, to become more insidious. Now, it could infect without blood contact. It could hide inside the human body dormant, invisible, waiting for a trigger. As we scrolled through the horrifying data, a sound echoed down the hallway. Footsteps, slow, measured. Not the frantic shuffle of the infected, these were human. From the shadows, a figure emerged, clad in the black armor of the restoration unit. He removed his helmet, and my heart stopped. It was Dr. Mercer, the same scientist who had opened that fateful vial 28 years after the fall. He looked at Ellie, his eyes filled with a deep, haunting regret. "You don't understand," he said, his voice heavy. "It was supposed to save us. Save us." Rhea spat, her voice laced with venom. "You doomed us." Mercer shook his head, explaining that the project was never about destruction. They were creating a version of the virus to control aggression, to enhance soldiers' instincts without turning them into monsters. But they failed. The virus evolved beyond their control, becoming a plague far worse than the original. Before we could process his confession, alarms blared through the facility, a deafening shriek that tore through the silence. Dozens of infected, drawn by the sound, swarmed the building. Their screams were a symphony of nightmares. "The failsafe," Mercer yelled over the chaos. "You have to reach the control room." We ran. Through smoke, gunfire, and the screams of the dying, we pushed forward. One by one, the other survivors with us fell, overwhelmed by the tide of rage. Only Ellie and I made it to the central chamber. Mercer stayed behind. We saw him through the reinforced glass, a final, determined look on his face as he triggered the self-destruct. The base burned explosions shook the very ground beneath us as we scrambled through an emergency tunnel leading toward the shore. When we emerged, the sky was a terrifying shade of red, not from the sunrise, but from the inferno consuming everything behind us. The infection was spreading through the city like a living storm. Rhea stumbled and collapsed. I saw it then, the bite mark on her arm. I dropped to my knees beside her, trembling. No, no, no. She just smiled, a weak, tired smile. "You did what I couldn't," she whispered. "You survived. You carry the truth now. Don't let it die with us." Tears streamed down my face. "I can't do this alone." Rhea placed her hand on my shoulder, her grip surprisingly firm. "You already are." And then she was gone. I stood at the edge of the broken pier, staring into the endless grey ocean. The world behind me was burning all over again, just like it did 28 years ago. But this time, something was different. I reached into my bag and pulled out a hard drive, the data from Mercer's lab. It held everything: the experiments, the mutations, the truth. In the distance, I spotted a boat. An old radio sat on the console, crackling with static. With a shaking hand, I turned it on. A voice, broken but clear, came through. "If anyone can hear this, we're alive. Northern Refuge, coordinates." I closed my eyes, whispering to myself, to Rhea, to whatever was left of the world. "There's still hope." I started the engine. Waves crashed against the hull as the little boat cut through the water. Behind me, smoke covered the horizon, a monument to cities swallowed by fire and rage. The virus destroyed us twice. But it also taught us something, that even in the darkest places, there's always someone left to fight.